There's no blessing, there's no blessedness that we can truly, truly find that is sustainable outside of Jesus. In short, we have an understanding of ourselves. We get to know ourselves much better when we find Him. It's such an answer to the question that we ask, and even more of the ones that we do not ask. It says to the Jew that seeks a sign is a stumbling block. It's an answer to them, even though it might not be the answer they are looking for. And to the Gentiles, they seek wisdom, and to those is foolishness to them. And Christ is the power and the wisdom of God. He is even the answer to the question they ask, and even the ones that they do not ask. I'm saying this because it truly pays to serve Jesus. And it has to be a thing from your heart, your individual heart. There's the corporate testimony that it pays to serve Jesus. Everyone comes together in a community, in a church, and we all believe that thing that it pays to serve Jesus, especially because somebody shares their own experience. So we join them to say that it truly pays. But is it true from our heart? It will always be with us if we do our part. It's a partnership thing. That's an author calls it, especially when we see it in the book of Hebrews, partakers of the heavenly calling. The late Theodore Austin Spark calls it companionship. There's a partnership. There is that companionship together. He will always be there as long as we do our own part. There's nothing in this wild world, there's nothing anywhere that beats that blessedness that we find in Him. We will find peace and contentment. There's peace and contentment when we serve Him. We can go all out and begin to share the experience that we have with Jesus, the personal story that we have. You see, the truth is everyone can debunk another man's story. You can fault it, you can argue it, but no man argues with their own personal testimonies. No man argues with their own personal experiences. That man's response to the priest and the Pharisee then was that, you see, you guys can argue as you want, but I know I was once blind, but now I can see. I know the thing that happened. I know the transformation that took place in my life that is worthy of sharing. That testimony that we have, that story that we have, that experience that we have, somebody out there might need it. We might not have the privilege to come on the pulpit to preach. We might not have the privilege to go out there, to hold a crusade. But that neighbor, that friend, that colleague at work might be just one story away from redemption. Might be specifically your story away from transformation. And it's important that every one of us begin to share the transformation that we have when we met Jesus. And that transformation does not have to do with our works, what we did. It's about Him. What is the essence? What's the good of a manuscript in the room that never gets to a publisher? Even if it has all that grace, even if it has all the unction, if it has all the information to transform this world, as long as it does not leave that room, it cannot transform any man, not even the rat in the room. There's no blessedness that we can find outside of Him. And often when we are tempted to turn out of track, there is a thought that we can sustain that can help us. And it's the thought of our Savior. Our mind will wander back. Especially the thought that He hung on the cross. The thought of Him on that cross. The thought of Him on Calvary's tree means that we will always find our path back. The challenge is that we do not have a sustainable revelation of Jesus. And if we do not have revelation, we are disadvantaged. The things in the faith needs a lot of revelation. To know the Father, Jesus said, no man knows the Father except the Son. No man knows the Son except the Father. So there's no knowledge of the Father, no knowledge of the Son outside of revelation. And when Paul came in, Paul counseled us in 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 15 and 16. He counseled us that henceforth know we no man after the flesh. So we can't know any man outside of revelation. We have to be enlightened to really know men, to know them as they truly are. And then Paul as well spoke in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, where he told us that, eyes had not seen, ears heard, the things that God has in plan for those that love Him. He said, but He has revealed. Even the things of God can only be assessed by revelation. So if there's no revelation of Jesus, if there's no revelation of the things that have been freely given to us, it becomes very difficult to apprehend them, not to talk of becoming our personal testimonies. It's a season where God must help us as we share our testimonies, as we share our stories of redemption to people. We must also labor to lay hold on of enlightenment, of revelation in our journey, so we can profit much more.